Hello, Operations Management class, Mr. Wilson's at 12:30 every Monday and Wednesday. My name is TJ McGowan. I'm sitting here with Mr. Andrew Phipps, the owner, CEO, CFO, the overall boss of Ike's. We're here at Ike's right now in Charleston. I'm going to ask him some questions on his operations and how he manages the bar. First off, I want to thank you for joining me. The first question I want to go into is about ethics and how you implement ethics with your employees and with your suppliers.
First, coming into this, I'll go off to the suppliers. When I first wanted to buy this establishment, I knew ethics was kind of a big role, and you had to follow the rules. And there's a lot of rules that would come with alcohol, especially since you're supplying it to people, and you're kind of in charge, almost like a babysitter. Their well-being is in your best interest. So you really need to make sure you're following all the rules right. And we have a liquor commissioner here in Charleston and in Nichols County, and he expects you to follow the rules. And if you don't, you can get hit with heavy fines, and you could possibly end up losing your business. So following the rules is maybe, and having good ethics and moral standards is maybe the number one thing that you need to have when owning a business. With my distributors, they all work with me, and I work with them, and they're making sure that they're not trying to undercut me or trying to get around, be sneaky around me, and having good morals and ethics, because I'm helping them out, they're helping me out. We're all trying to run our businesses the best we can, and if they're not trying to look out for your best interest and I'm not looking out for their best interest, it'll never work out that way. Next, with my employees, that was one of my major concerns when I first started. Is like, who am I going to hire? I am 22 years old, and I know a lot of the people here, and so getting the right people in here and making sure I can trust them, because I know it's very easy to give the bar away, and making sure that they're going to do what I ask them to do, and make sure they're kind of the same ethical standards that I have, and I expect them to hold. So just knowing who you have working for you and making sure that they're following the rules like you expect them to, and if they can do that and they respect you in that manner, then everything's going to be fine.
Okay, excellent. Next question I have is on supply and inventory control, and how you determine how much inventory you should have, and what your relationship is with your suppliers, how you contact them.
So inventory is maybe one of the more underrated things that people. It takes a lot of time, but it's one of the more important things in running a business. You got to know where your stuff's coming in and where it's going out, and how much you need to order. So every Monday, I do inventory from the week past. And then I plan on making orders. So I look at what I had before, see what I have at the end of the week on that Monday, and then kind of see what I need to order for that next week. And I usually do it by week basis, because you don't want to have too much inventory, because then you're going to have money in inventory and assets that are just sitting there, but you want to be able to have enough cash flow to be able to purchase that. So working with my distributors, I have 4 of them. And I order on Mondays, and I usually get them on that next Tuesday, and sometimes on that next Friday. And they work with me too if I need it later in the week as well. But keeping control of your inventory, knowing what you bring in, how much you use, what you're selling it at, and what you need to purchase for that next week, and making sure you're not getting too much or too little is really important, because as a bar you never want to run out of anything. So making sure you're doing proper inventory and doing it right is a key.
Also another question about lead time. What is the lead time? Like, how much in advance do you order?
Lead time, like I said, I order it Monday. Sometimes I'll give a call to my distributors on a Sunday, so I know that I'm going to get something on Monday. That's usually just with Bud Light. And then on Mondays, I can call all my other distributors, and once I've done inventory, I know exactly how much I need to order. There's different time frames, so with one of my distributors, I can call them. I order on Monday, and I get it next Tuesday no matter what. Another one, I can call them, and I say if I want it for Tuesday. If not, I can wait till Thursday. It just depends how I decide to do ordering that week. But I know for another one, I order on Monday, and it's just a liquor, it's Southern Wine and Spirits. I know I'm not going to get that till Friday. So sometimes I have to do enough lead time to know if I'm not going to get it till Friday, but I need it on Thursday, so I need to order probably the week before for that next Thursday, since I couldn't get it before then. So lead time varies. You just got to know, like I said, if you're consistent with what you're doing week by week, and they know what to expect from you, and you know what you're going to be able to order every week, or have a better general idea, your lead time is pretty consistent every week to whether you know what you're going to get and when you're going to get it, and so
And then, what are your daily operations that go through just a day in the life of Andrew Phibbs running ice?
Well, first, usually after the close of the night, I do all the registers and everything, and I put the money away in the safe, and I go home for the night, and then I come back the next day, and I make sure all the paperwork and everything's done that need to be done. So I go through the money from the night before, I put it all in my Excel spreadsheet and make sure I have the numbers all right, and then I make a deposit. Then make sure this place is clean, ready to go for the next night, and I make sure that I have everything that needs to be brought up and stocked, everything that needs to be cleaned and redone and ready for the next night. That's what I do in my day. And so when I come in here at night, I make sure all the registers are set and the money's right. I have enough paper products, make sure the bathrooms are correct, make sure this place is up to par and ready for people to come in here and ready to go. Because like I said, if you're not keeping a daily routine of what you need to be doing, then you're going to fall behind real quick. So it's real important to stay on top of the little small things of maintenance, cleaning, supplies, inventory, just that daily operations of constantly checking to make sure you're on the right page.
Cool. Excellent. Another question I have is quality control. How do you maintain quality control with regards to the product, place? You just said that, but like, how do you maintain quality? Like, how do you keep offering, good quality products and?
Yeah. So I mean, in comparison to last year when we redid the place, it wasn't very clean, and so that's one thing I've tried to make sure we had when everybody comes in here this year. It gets cleaned every day, and it's get cleaned the right way, and so it's nice and ready and it's presentable, and nobody wants to come into a place that's dirty and smells bad. So that's what one of the keys to, I think, having a presentable bar. Also, we cover all the liquor bottles with shot glass and night, so nothing can go in and out of them. And we throw away all the trash after the night and make sure everything's cleaned up. Make sure everything's really stocked. Wipe everything down. Make sure your cups and your glasses and your registers and your beer taps and your bar and your chairs and everything that people use and have access to and touch, your bathrooms, are all clean and presentable. I think that's a really important factor, and whether people want to come back and really enjoy being there, because if it's not clean, it's not nice, and they're not going to want to spend their money and come in here and have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What is your view on, or who are your competitors in the area, and where do you feel you stand with your competitors, and what is your relationship with them?
Well, on this side of town, we have Marty's, Sticks, Jerry's, Stu's. And on the north side of town, by the square, we have Mom's, Mike and Stan's, Uptowner, Rocks, Lefties. All are considered my competitors because they all provide alcohol. And so, like, with them, I try to give them a mutual respect because we're all in the same business. So when I'm talking to them, or if I have to interact with them, we're all in the same boat. And I think I give them a lot of respect. And that we don't undercut them, they're not going to try to undercut you, we're all trying to do the same thing. And so when you start off with bad relationships and you're trying to do things around other people, or you're trying to just not do it the right way, because everybody's trying to do it the right way, then red flags are drawn, and then they start, then it gets out and they don't really have that same respect for you. So with my competitors, they're going to have their nights, I'm going to have my nights, and it's just how it works. It's an up and down business, and so if you just give them the general respect, they're going to respect you back too, and we're all in the same town, we're all in the same community. We got to work together at some point.
Absolutely. And what are your strategies coming up in the future? Where do you see Ike's going, like, say, 5 years from now? Where do you see Ike's at?
Hopefully 5 years from now. That's hard to think that far down the road, but even in the near future, I'd like to get Ike's back to having food. We had food in, I think, as late as 2002. To open up the hours, make it more accessible for the community and for everybody that would like to come in and eat, not only just drink but eat, and do some different things for, as in the product that I'm giving, and like the presentable, like having different deals, having different things available for my customers to come in at night. I'd also like to do a little more renovating. We've renovated the inside, but I'd like to replace the awning and get maybe a new sign for out front. Possibly try to get a beer garden somewhere, if that means going up or going out. Redo that. Just always putting back into the business as much as I can to make it just that a little much better. You got to put something back in so people can see that you're changing and trying to make it better. And just keep offering things that makes people want to come back, and just always trying to make people become better. I mean, if you're not doing that, then you're in the wrong business.
Absolutely. And then my final question is with regards to labor and how you decide how many workers you have on a given night, and how you budget their, like how many workers you have. Yeah, how you budget, how many workers you have on a given night, like depending on.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. It's like knowing what you need to do for your inventory, and your workers are basically another thing of your inventory. You're paying them to be here, and if they don't need to be here and they're not doing anything, you don't want to have to pay them. So, and because it adds up over time very quickly. So knowing about consistency and knowing that you're going to have this many people scheduled on this night every week, and this night, this night, and this night, and if you don't need them, send them home. So I mean, on Tuesdays, depending on the time of year, we have 3 to 4 workers. Sometimes we go down to 2. Sometimes we go up to 5. Just depending on the time of year, the situation. But mostly consistently, we'll have 3 on Tuesday, 4 on Wednesday, 4 on Thursday, sometimes 5 on Thursday, 5 on Friday, and 5 on Saturday. And like I said, I usually come in at 9. I don't have them come in until 10:30, and it's just because that extra hour and a half of them maybe not having to do anything is is coming out of your pocket, and you don't need to pay them if they're not doing anything. So it's important to really schedule the right way. Make sure you do have the right amount of workers, and you don't have too little, you don't have too much. So you got to be able to balance that and make it work, so you're not wasting money and you're not wasting their time either.
Okay, cool. Well, I thank you for my time, or for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.